All right, hi everybody. So, what we're going to do today is channel our inner Bob Ross, and we are going to make ourselves some happy big and little trees. We have been looking at the artwork of Emily Carr. She was a celebrated Canadian artist and really created amazing, beautiful landscapes. We specifically are going to be working on some trees, creating a forest in the style of Emily Carr. So I'm going to first start out. Again, we are creating space as an artist. How do we create space on a flat piece of paper? Well, that's part of the magic of being an artist. We can create the illusion. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create some size. I'm going to do a big tree right in the front over here. And that's going to be a tree that's in our foreground. I'm just going to make a big tree there. It's going to be a line that goes from one side and kind of wibbly wobbly up. Not too wibbly wobbly, but there's a little undulation, some slight curves going on around in there. And then I'm going to draw another line. This is the other side of the trunk. There. Notice it's wider at the bottom, a little more narrow at the top. That's all right. If you want to, you could always draw some little branches that come off, because that does happen. And it's okay that these lines are crossed and that they're meeting. But what I did was I stopped right here, because I'm going to draw the top, the canopy, the leaves of the tree at the very top. And I'm drawing it so that it goes off the paper. There. So this tree is in the front, part of our foreground. This is going to be, oh, you know what? I think I need to actually make this tree a little bit bigger, don't you? Because if I think about how skinny I got to make my other trees, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just add some width to my tree. Now, you may see this line and these lines that I crossed over and think of them as mistakes, but you know what? I'm going to leave those, and I'm actually going to add another line that goes in between them. And then I'm going to continue adding lines just like this. So I made my mistake, and I am turning it actually into a really cool detail on my tree. This is going to now be my tree bark texture. And once I add some color, you are not going to even notice any of those crisscross lines. Now, that's one tree. Let's throw another tree in over here. This one's going to be a little smaller because it's a little further back. So, oh, and you know what else we can do? Watch this. We're going to add some overlapping. I'm going to add a little line of land right here at the bottom. Ready? Watch this. Just a little line over from the edge to the tree. And there. Boom. So that little line of land, that's actually going to be the base for my next tree. So I'm going to make my tree, I'll draw this edge of it first. Just going straight up. Boom. I'm going to stop. Well, maybe I'll bring it up a little more. There we go. And now, remember, this tree is the biggest. It's in the front. It's the closest to us. So this tree has to be a little smaller. So I'm looking at how wide this tree is. I know I need to make this tree smaller. So I'm going to make it a little more narrow. Not making it too crazy, though. And I'll stop right there. Actually, you know, I'll bring it up a little. Bring it up a little. And then right here, I'm going to add some little side branches. Yeah, I think just one. That'll be good. And I'm going to make my canopy, my leafy part right there. And I really liked this tree trunk texture, so I'm going to just real quick add that in right here. Sometimes it's evenly spaced, sometimes it's not. And that's okay. Trees are organic, and that means they do not follow a lot of rules, do they? When we're drawing them, you can have wibbly wobbly lines, it's okay. All right, now you know what we're going to do? We're going to add another line of land right here. Boom. So we've got one tree, another tree, and now this other tree we're going to draw right. Actually, let's put one here. And remember, it's got to be a little smaller than this one, right? Let's go ahead and we'll put another one over here on this side. Make things interesting in this drawing. Now notice how this tree, I'm not going to draw it all the way up to the top like I did this one. But I do want to make sure that I get them about the same width. And I'm going to draw a little tree branch coming off right here. And then, see what I'm going to do there? Just adding a little bottom edge. So now I've created this. There. This is the top of the tree here. This is the tree branch of this big tree in front of it. Got some overlapping. I'm going to add that tree bark texture that I accidentally added and that I actually really enjoyed. Got to be a little slow and careful with that though. Oh, I'm going to run out of room. Boop. There we go. Maybe I'll add an extra little line right there. There. Okay. Oh, and look at this one. Let's go ahead and maybe we'll add a little branch here. This one's a little longer. And then we'll add another one here. We'll just make that little wavy line canopy. I'm just going to bring it all the way over there. Add that tree bark texture line. And if you need to, you can feel free to pause the video if you need to. Just gonna throw some extra texture lines in here for the tree bark. You know what? I think we should pop some little trees way off in the distance. All right, here's our last land line, and you know what? We're going to call this one our horizon line because it's going to be the line where the land meets our sky. So what we're going to do is this will be our last land line, and then way back here, some little tiny trees. So thin. Tiny little. Let's go ahead and add a nice little variety, a little forest back here. I'll pop one over here in the back. Now I'm really getting wild with these. My lines are all over. Kind of like it. And I'll add my little tree canopy. You can just even bring it all the way over. Now, another thing about creating space, another way, is with clarity, value, and focus. So, objects that are close to you are really sharp and clarity. Things that are further away, they're not as clear. They're less fuzzy. They're more fuzzy. They're less in focus. So there's less details. So you can get away with just drawing some, the outside edges of your trees when they're way far back, because they are out of focus. The further away an object is, the less you can see of it, the less details you see. The closer an object is, the clearer it is, the more details you can see. So we should probably add some more details to this tree in the very, very front. And we can do that by adding some really neat bark texture, making some lines that go in between, creating a little variety. If you wanted to, you could add like a little animal hole, a little knot. Maybe there's an owl or a squirrel living in your tree. That'd be a great detail to add. You could even add some leaf texture. Maybe not so much the further away it gets. So you can do like a whole actual leaf. Just one or two. Doesn't have to be like picture perfect. And then in the next one back, a little less detail. In the next layer, just some little curved lines. And maybe just one or two. A suggestion of a fluffy, leafy foliage might be nice. There. You see? A little more detail, a little less detail, even less detail. And there we go. All that's left, add some color. Think about the color that we've been learning about the past couple of weeks. How could you use your knowledge of color to really add some emphasis, maybe some contrast in your trees? I'll show you mine, and then I can't wait to see what your artwork looks like. So just a real quick review over how we created space in this artwork. We used size, drawing the trees that are closest to us bigger. And as the trees get further away from us, they get smaller. We also used some overlapping. This tree is in front of these trees. And those are in front of these trees. We also played with positioning. So the very front closest to us trees are at the bottom of our paper. And the ones that are further away are closer to the top of the paper. And some clarity, working with our focus. And how clearly do we draw the details of the objects that are closest to us? Draw those details really clear, and then add less details the further away you go. Here's our foreground and our background. And this little line right here, that's our horizon line. Great job creating space.